I'm Josh Wagner. I've found that every major transition in my life, I do something creative to help me process it. So this is sort of a continuation of something I did 8 years ago called Wondering to Work. Still wondering. It's not working right now. My name's Josh Wagner, as I mentioned, and for most of my career, I was a Catholic priest. Went to seminary at 18, was ordained at 26. I served in a very, very nice, wealthy parish. But I'll get into this at some other point. I had a faith crisis, major faith crisis. Just like that, it just zapped away. I often ponder about the circumstances. Maybe I'll share some of that here. I left the priesthood in 2007. I wrote a blog that turned into a book. And I went back into the priesthood in 2008. Somewhat because I wasn't ready, but also somewhat because I couldn't find a job. It was 2008. When I went back, I spent a year in a country parish, and then I did Hispanic ministry. Then I was pastor of 2 black churches for about 10 years. 2 African-American Catholic churches in the inner city of Columbus. That was fun. I love the people there. I was a nationally known motivational speaker as a priest. My faith crisis had never really resolved at that point. I tried my best. I was very popular. I was a very good speaker, preacher. There's a part of me that was insincere about it. I left again from the priesthood in 2018, late 2018. That's when I did Wondering to Work. I got a job working for home care and hospice. On the association level, I was just doing marketing for them, which is a skill that I developed when I went back in, because I thought if I'm going to leave again, I better have a skill this time. Marketing was a skill I developed, internet marketing specifically. I left because a priest friend of mine was falsely accused of something. They removed him from ministry. He was cleared, but in the meantime, before he got cleared, he committed suicide. I thought, what am I doing here? It's a horrible situation. I left. I did that Wondering to Work blog while I was driving to work. That was helpful. So I was out of the priesthood for maybe 2 years when I met Jennifer. We fell in love immediately. We had the best time together. We had the best time. We laughed. She was so funny. We laughed. She was thoughtful. She was peaceful. She was smart. I love the way she looked. Just everything was so perfect. She was perfect. I was perfect for her. We were perfect for each other. We spent almost every day together from that point on. We didn't spend every day together until about October, November. We met in September. Pretty much every day. And every day after that. The exception of a couple trips she took for work and stuff. In 23, I quit my job and went full-time as a hypnotherapist, which I have other channels on here. Not that I'm doing that right now. I'm not working at all. She worked at home starting in 23. I worked at home starting in 23. It was fantastic. We spent all day and all night together for a year and a half here at home. It was magnificent. My best friend and my girlfriend at the time, and we ended up getting engaged at the end of 23. She was here with me all the time. It was fantastic. I couldn't have hoped for a better life. We went on adventures. We went to Vegas and Washington, D.C. and Italy and Florida and Utah. All sorts of fun places. North Carolina, South Carolina. All sorts of fun places we went. Savannah, Georgia was one of our favorites. And life couldn't have been better. She was a little stressed out by her job. I was stressed out because I was self-employed for the first time in my life. I was not in the safety of the church. It didn't matter, though, because we had each other. We were together all the time. And we rarely argued, although I think sometimes I annoyed her. She was very clean. I'm not terrible, but I leave fingerprints on the fridge. But she forgave me. She was always very forgiving. She never held anything against me. She was never like, remember that time 2 years ago? Never, none of that stuff. We rarely argued anyway. If we did have a disagreement, we talked through it. She was a great communicator. So in late 24, September of 24, long story short, and I'll probably get into other details of this, she developed a rare sinonasal cancer called SMARCB1. And she thought it was TMJ. She thought it was the ENT, the ear, nose, and throat doctor. Thought it was just a fungal infection, but it turned out to be a very rare cancer in the right side of her face, in her sinus, and everything. We were both here. I was in my office, and she came in, and she says, I have cancer. And not just any cancer. Not that any cancer is good, right? But 200 people ever had it. Aggressive. Like, I could see her face changing every single day. It was awful. And so she had this. We had to move to Texas because the hospital here, as great as the James, Ohio State is, they said they couldn't do it here. As magnificent of a hospital as that is. So we moved from Ohio to Houston, and she had her whole right side of her face just cut open, removed part of her upper jaw, her eye. I can't believe all she went through. Still processing all that. She went through 30 rounds of radiation. It was almost worse than the surgery. The surgery was bad. I said the whole right side of her face was opened up and the cancer was cut out. They took part of her meat from her legs, from her thighs, rebuilt her, put a flap where her eye was, rebuilt part of her mouth. She lost some teeth. And then the radiation was worse. It made her sick. She couldn't eat. She was just miserable. But we had a lot of hope that it was going to get better. We went in for the scans. They found that there was nothing at all on this side of her face. It jumped over here, right above and behind her eye. And here we were again, started over. She almost died in May of 25. MD Anderson, where we were in Houston, has all these kind of innovative things. So one of those surgeries, they kept her alive. Gave her a good quality of life, frankly, for another year. We loved each other. I mean, even in the midst of all that, I think we were happy together still. We were happy to be together. She was scared and in a lot of pain. I had to take care of her. I quit my job and my business and stuff. It was her full-time caregiver. We survived on GoFundMes and Social Security. My dad helped us. We were happy. We still went on some adventures. We went to Galveston, went to New Orleans, which is pretty close to Houston. It's only a couple hour drive away. We went to Hot Springs, Arkansas. We still did some adventures. Not as many adventures as we would have wanted to. She wanted to go to Sedona, but we never made it there. And this cancer just kept going and going and going. And, they tried all sorts of things to get it to stop, but it never stopped. Sometimes it got killed pretty bad. Sometimes the cancer didn't, responded well to the new treatment. But January of this year, 26, stuff wasn't working anymore. And so they tried one last chemo, but that didn't work. She was okay until about a week and a half before she died. She died. As I record this, 4th of July of 26, she died on May 7th, so almost 2 months ago. She was her fun self until the day the doctor told us that it was over and to go home, to go back to Ohio. And so we did. We rushed back to Ohio. We stopped in Nashville to see her sister who was having a baby, just days away from having a baby. We just had hoped so much that we were going to get to see that baby. But she was declining. Cancer was pushing into her brain on the left side of her head. And she had her vision, thank goodness. They saved that, so she had her vision. But it was pushing into her head. And that day we saw the doctor, she just started losing her self as the brain was getting more and more pressured. We made it home in time to see her folks, and she was in hospice for 2.5 days. Here in the house, right over here, was the hospital bed. I can't see it. We never got to have a chance to get married. We were husband and wife, though. That's what we called each other. Every time we tried to get married, she'd end up in the hospital. We'd wait a little bit, try again, and she'd end up in the hospital again. We went to saw chapels down in Galveston. I got the notary come in to the hospital room so I could go get her marriage license. We just thought we had more time. And she declined so quickly between April 28th when we saw the doctor and May 7th when she died. She was herself 2 weeks before she died. So I'm wandering through the grief right now. I like that wandering to work idea, but I'm not working. It doesn't make any sense. So I was going to call this project Still Wondering. And, it's not always going to be about grief. Probably will be the next 20 entries if I do that many. I don't know what I'm going to do. But I do know that when I make a transition, I need to do something creative that doesn't try and make money. My creativity is bound up in making money just because it's how I am. I'm self-employed. So I'm not working right now. I'll go back to work in September. I have something waiting for me. I have my business and I have a couple things. I'm not going to go back to doing hypnotherapy anytime soon. I just can't do it. I can't be with someone for an hour right now. I just don't have it in me. So I read every day and I meditate every day and I pray every day. I don't pray the same way I used to. I call it prayer, but I just do kind of I'll explain that some other time. I have some routine that I go through every day. I'm going to make this part of my routine just to make myself feel better and to process, and maybe somebody will find this helpful. I have not lived a boring life, I'll tell you that. I have not lived a boring life. This is Lucy. This is Lucy. I have 3 dogs. They're on either side of me, and I have Lucy here. And she's a little Havanese. See if I can get her little cute face in there. I don't want to hurt her. There you go. She is the cutest. She's very smart. She's a very smart girl. The 2 are okay, but they're not as smart as her. She is the boss. They were Jen's dogs. She had 2 dogs, and I had 1 dog. I have an old boy named Benji. And there's another doggy named Louie, which is here. I'll show them to you some other time. But Lucy, the star. That's why she wants to be on the camera. I'm looking right into her eyes right now on the camera. They help me so much. Oh, thank you, little goose. We call her the goose. So, one of the things I read this morning, and that might be the subject of some of my wonderings, is about the journey, not the destination. Sounds a little cliche, but I like to think of it as the process, not the outcome. I can't rush the grief. I can't make this happen any quicker. This is where I'm supposed to be right now. I'm just sitting in the grief, with the grief, hurting when I hurt, feeling good when I feel good. I don't, because I was a priest for so long, I don't feel bad when I feel good. A lot of people feel bad when they feel good. Like they feel guilty when they feel good. I'm okay with feeling good when I'm in the midst of this. So there are good days and there are bad days. I'm so glad I don't have that burden of feeling bad when I feel good. There's so many people that have guilt about feeling good when they're in the middle of grief. It's okay to feel good. It's okay to enjoy yourself. It's okay to have little white dogs. It's okay to love. So I have to fall in love with this process, and I have to be patient. I've always said if I could be and love the process, I would take over the world. I'm always so worried about getting there. Like, where am I going? Not where am I at? Thank you, Goose. So anyway, if you want to hear more, you can subscribe. I don't know if I'm going to post. I don't know how often I'm going to post. I'd like to make this part of my routine because I journal every day, and I was thinking about, I've journaled every day for years, and I was wondering how I could process even better. I am a talker, as you can tell, 17 minutes in. Hi, Ben. This is my other boy Benji. Oh, he does not like to be held, but this is my little doggy I brought into the relationship, Benji. He's my old boy. He's my elder statesman. He does not like being held like Lucy. Oh, okay. All right, boy. You can go. Okay. See you guys soon.